Mayegun làwa mọ̀, àmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Hello there.
Àmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining me tonight or this morning or afternoon. It is brunch time with Mayegun, and thank God it's Friday.
Wọ́n sì tún ṣe é wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀
Miss you too. Please read the caption of the broadcast. Read the description as well. Share it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell all of them.
kẹ́gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀, làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rà kì í. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
I know I miss you too. I just took a break yesterday, okay? And now I am back. We have a lot of catch up to do starting from this moment. And share this.
Ọ bàbá dúrẹ́. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Rufaya, the Kaduna little finger, has now sued the Kaduna state government for accusing him of stealing 420 billion naira. And we talk. And yesterday, Kenyans who won
Àní ẹ̀sùn
2 days ago, Kenyans, yes, we have a lot of catch up to do in Kenya because you need a lot of update on that too. So what happened is this. After forcing the hand of the IMF puppets, Ruto, now they are now asking him to go and leave totally. You have killed Kenyans, only to withdraw what they have been asking you to withdraw for a while. Now, you have killed Kenyans, and you are still killing Kenyans. You have lost all the rights to be our president. Same goes for the lawmakers. See, Kenyans are asking that the parliament should be dissolved. They no longer want these guys anymore. They are going to their properties, to their homes, and most of them are staying in Nairobi. They can't even go back to their constituency anymore.
Mayegun ti dé.
So, but today, thank you so much, Jare, Mami, Omolara, Ogundari, and others as you are joining. You see, I am happy to be back though, right? But I'll tell you about that later. So let's get down to it because we are starting late, okay? However, brunch time with Mayegun, usually we will start from Nigeria, okay? But I kind of love to end it there. Okay, so the first part of this chat this morning is going to be about Kenya. Things have gone totally out of hand now. You see, 2 days ago, Ruto finally surrendered. And he said he rejected signing the controversial finance bill. Just for those of you who probably you are coming across this, for the first time, let me kind of bring you up to date. 2 years ago, like in Nigeria, Kenyans, they went to poll and they were to choose the leadership for their country. And the person that appealed mostly to the young people then was Ruto. And in fact, he spoke so well on the type of policies, like a typical politician, that was going to be different. So they backed him. The institutions in Kenya stood behind what they considered was right. What were those things? Like in Nigeria under Buhari, Kenyans were already going through serious economic crisis, but not like what they experienced in the last 2 years under Ruto. So it was a very good example to say the reason why Kenyans were suffering was because the government of the time, they were partnering with World Bank, IMF to impoverish Kenyans. It was an easy sell, and a lot of Kenyans agreed with him. That's true. We must cut down taxes. Our people are paying too much. Okay, we must subsidize things for people. Like in Nigeria, petroleum is subsidized in Kenya, like many other things, but mainly petroleum. So, because of the economic crisis, you put it that way, caused by the former government's borrowing, which the taxpayers of Kenya have to pay back, it wasn't a good idea for any government to proceed and start borrowing again and coming with other stringent hard conditions only to be bought by the citizens. Now, the final stroke that broke the camel's back between Ruto, lover boy of the youth, the one that the Gen Z saw as a breath of a fresh air from the normal oligarch in Kenya, where it is always turn by turn, Kenya Limited, like Nigeria. Grab the power, make everybody around you so wealthy that you can easily tell the difference between the politicians and the poor people they are leading. It's always the tradition. Ruto was supposed to be different. He went into a partnership, a coalition with another political party to form that government. That's his vice president. So Ruto, within just few months, he became the poster boy for the same World Bank and IMF. All the talk of African currency, Africa this, African that, Pan-African this, all that nonsense talk from him disappeared. But the Kenyans were like tolerating him. Some were defending him. Some were trying to understand him until it came for them finally, and nobody is spared. To the point that even those, like in Nigeria, they have people they pay too. They hire influencers online. They pay people like offline. They organize counter protests. They pay. There are Kenyans willing, but they're also going to suffer. So it became a thing that the Gen Z take upon themselves. They now emptied the entire finance bill and all of the clauses. They broke everything down, even for their parents that will normally read the headline and read some of the fine prints and all the big grammars in their papers and all that, and they will just flow with it. The Gen Z choose not. Or more. They broke it down to the point that in Kenya, they have law on land where the land, even though if the land is yours, or if the land is going to be leased by you, they pay taxes on them too. Okay, so this finance bill, IMF loan, listen to this. So Kenya, under the former government, they borrowed $500 million. That $500 million has increased to $750 million now. Now, Ruto with World Bank. World Bank will now borrow Kenya $1.2 billion so that Kenya can pay back $750 million they collected before. Okay? So they can use the rest for anything else they think is proper in their country. So what that means is that $500 million loan from the World Bank or IMF given to Kenya, Nobody can say what they use the money for, okay? So the Kenya cannot pay back. For Kenya to be able to pay back, World Bank now said, okay, we'll offer you 1.2 billion. So you can use 750 million from that to pay back that loan. Now you have, let's say, $350 million left, okay? But in overall, Kenya will be in debt of 1.2 billion because Kenya want to pay back 500. The Gen Z broke everything down. And how is Kenya going to pay back? So the World Bank now asked them to remove subsidies. Remove subsidy on petroleum, remove subsidy on this, remove subsidy on that, which would then automatically skyrocket the hardship that they are already facing. For now, Kenyans, they say, the population of Kenya is about between 53 and 55 million, okay? Out of that 53 and 55 million right now, more than 10 million of them are living in poverty, below poverty line. And 40% more, which is going to be like about 25 million more, are in danger of falling into abject poverty with this proposal. So they would not be able to afford bread, milk, sanitary pad. Number one, they will not be able to afford the electricity bill anymore. Like that 40%. We're talking about deliberately putting 25 million people in poverty. Then you say, well, since the other 30 million are okay, this 20 million later, they will catch up. That's just the plan. That's the plan of the politicians. We do not have any money to pay. So to show the World Bank that we will pay the money, we will pay the loan, we will just remove subsidy, increase taxes on few things, okay? And that means if Kenya is generating, let's say, 200 billion Kenyan shillings as their revenue in a single year, all year round, 200 billion, right? Now, Kenya has a deficit, for example, this 2024 in their budget, they have a deficit of 200 billion shillings, Kenyan shillings, right? It's like saying 200 billion naira. Deficit means they have things they want to spend money on, but they do not have enough money to pay for what they want to spend money on as a government. And guess most of what they want to spend money on? Like Nigeria, luxury for the politicians. Yeah. New cars, new houses for them, travel allowance for them, spousal allowance, baba. They collect spousal allowance for their politicians in Kenya. Yeah, they made law. Like Nigerian politicians collect money to read papers. They collect money, hardship allowance. Nigerian lawmakers collect hardship allowance. In Kenya, they collect that too. And their wives or husband, they get paid allowances. And all of this is part of the budget. There are Kenyans who Kenya will pay for, but Kenya has no money. So they went to World Bank. World Bank now said, you are in debt already. And your income doesn't show that you can pay back some of the money you say you need. Oh, we'll pay back. Show it. Prove it. Okay. Then we're going to submit what is called the Finance Bill 2024. Kenyans will pay. We promise you. Now, waiting cost wahala be that too. And when the people now started saying, are you mad? You want to kill us? Businesses are folding up. Businesses are leaving Kenya too. Yeah. Overtaxed. Yeah. Unemployment in Kenya is increasing as well. Businesses are folding too because they can't pay all of the imposed taxes on them. And you guess what? All these taxes are not because they want to build Ruto. It's because they want to pay IMF, World Bank, and to prove to them that they can pay. Now all of you go pay. So the hardship is overall. The voice, tribe, ethnic, religious, or any class, even the rich, said they cry. So that's the genesis. So that is why if you are watching them from outside Africa, outside Kenya, and you are also suffering your own dictatorship, your own hardship, you have no idea of how to go about it. There's no point in trying to project your fear on them, because they know the source of their problems, and they are not shying away from it. They are not calling God. Majority of them are not calling diasporans. Kenyans in diaspora come back home and save Kenya. No. They live there. They work there. They have their families there. They have their businesses there. They are the affected. So nobody needs to tell them. Then what happened? Ruto doubled down. It was like nothing. He called them terrorists. Yeah. He called them terrorists. But you know something that worked for them so far in Kenya? As much as they have killed over 150 people, which has now triggered a new level of a protest. See, there are some members of the institutions, like the judiciary, Supreme Court, like the police. Yeah, the police have been shooting because Ruto was able to change the hierarchy of the police, thinking they could use them to suppress this demand that don't put us in poverty, don't put us in poverty. Then he turned to the military. Even the military, they also kind of reacted with mixed feelings. Yes, we are going to go out there, okay? But listen, you should not shoot at these people. But there are those who are part of that military, police, and the rest, who are also still kind of feeling like these protesters' church should be crushed, even though they themselves are going to be affected. Though. This issue of tribal destiny is so strong in Kenya that it is the only tool that the politicians have been using. They were telling their people that they are stupid. They don't understand anything. If Kenya doesn't take that money from World Bank and increase their taxes, Kenya is going to go bankrupt. But they were paying themselves billions and billions and billions. So now everything don't scatter. After killing the people, they are no longer asking the reject finance bill 2024 anymore. They are now asking Ruto to go. You've killed us. You can't be our president anymore. Even lawmakers who voted no. They themselves are now asking the parliament should be dissolved. This is happening in Kenya. So we're going to go there for the first few minutes, maybe the next 20 minutes. Okay, let's go to Kenya as a catch-up, This was yesterday. Mind you, in some of the clips, you will see some of the properties vandalized. These are reported to be the properties of the lawmakers, politicians, especially those ones who actually talked down on them in the last 2 weeks. Those ones who made different videos to talk down on Kenyans and threaten them. Okay? Now people are going after them. So if you see any of those, just know those are the properties of the politicians. They were going to take over the government house of Kenya. And yesterday, they didn't succeed. Or maybe they didn't really push yesterday. But today is another day, you see, right? Here, watch.
Hiyo ni kuka. Guy. Hii ni generator. Ini gari ya bana.
Jeshi ni ya Allah.
I'm from Nyeri town. Kenyan, Kenny West, Kenny East. All Ken. Naumia leo. Sorry.
Mama
May papa anything.
Inyuĩ nĩ inyuĩ mũgũcoka gũtua ũrĩa tũgwĩka. Nĩ inyuĩ mũgũtwĩra ona tũrĩe ngima mũkaigua mũndũ tũkũrĩa ngima, ithuĩ nĩ ithuĩ atuge tũrĩe gĩtheri. Ona tũrĩe gĩtheri nĩ inyuĩ mũgwĩka atĩa? Mũrĩtwĩraga.
People power! Power!
We are saying that taxes must be reduced, manze. We are getting overtaxed every day. He's taxing bread, sanitary pads, diapers, cancer treatment, everything.
The members of parliament have been elected by the people and they must represent the people. People power! Our power! Power! People power! Power!
Yeah, people power. Unafanya nini?
Hatuna vita na nyinyi. Hatuna vita na nyinyi. Members of parliament must represent the people. They must listen to us and they must represent us. Sawa.
Hii mnatubeba. So wako tubeba. Sawa, wewe unataka mimi. Nini ni ma? Wewe niende.
Sasa mbona?
People power! Reject finance bill.
Reject.
Reject finance bill.
Reject.
Yeah. Niko sawa, mimi niko sawa.
Kupumzika pia sio stare. Doya ni na zingine miliandika so bila kushow no one so. Meanwhile watu wanazurura tu tukizokaa watumi. Wanachizi kuonyesha wizi na kama wapunguze matumizi ya kiholela na kupoteza hela. Hawataki kusikia. Wanatuambia ati Kenya kwanza iko nyuma. Iko nyuma.
People power! People power! People power! The members of parliament must listen to the people.
Reject your bill. People power. Reject your tax ya cancer.
Tunafika parliament.
Standing before you is Honorable Joyce Atino Sogo Bensouda, woman.
I'll come back to you, Honorable Joyce. So those were still like the early stuff, you know. And then those who were vandals, who were looting as well, you see, in Kenya, right, during this whole protest, government used many things to try to stop it. Before they even tried so much to criminalize it, okay? So the same policemen, you know, like the secret policemen,